Ghana as a country has a lot to celebrate since its independence in 1957. As a people, we have enjoyed peace. We have been able to remain united and to work and live together as one people. We also have freedom. We have freedom of religion. We have the freedom to express ourselves. The individual freedom to express ourselves. We don't take this for granted. We have the freedom to also express ourselves through the press. We have freedom of association in the country. And we have the freedom to choose our leaders. Then we have a young but growing democracy. Our democratic institutions need more work, but we are one of the few countries that are actually following the script in multi-party democracy, and this is something we should celebrate as a people. In spite of these achievements that we can celebrate, we do have things that we need to seriously work on in order to have a better Ghana, a transforming Ghana, a Ghana that we'll all be proud of. And I want to list some of these areas where we need to actually work together to ensure that we are seeing progress. One of them is our religiosity. We are a religious people, and we are very, very active. But the question one has to ask is, how has this religiosity been translated into spirituality that will help us understand how to exercise better stewardship for our development as a people? How has our religiosity been translated into spirituality that can also result in ethics and morality that will inform and shape our lifestyles, our leadership, our governance, and our stewardship? The other area that we need to look at is that we are still a raw materials-based economy. In other words, we export raw materials and value is added to these raw materials elsewhere. And in essence, what we gain from those raw materials is a small fraction of what others gain from those. We are now the largest producer of gold in Africa, and when you hear that, you will say, wow, Ghana is doing well. No. If you are just extracting gold and selling it without adding value to it, you are actually increasing your chances to be a poor nation in the future, because gold is quantifiable. It's not going to be there forever. And so if you are taking the gold that is for this generation and the future generation, and you are just selling it without adding value to it and gaining a fraction of what you should gain for it, you are actually choosing poverty for the next generation. So if we are the largest producer of gold, we should also have the largest gold refinery in Africa. At the very least, we should have the second largest gold refinery in Africa, second only to South Africa. That is what will be a sign that we are serious about development. And then when you have the refinery, you have to train a lot of people as goldsmiths who are able to then take the refined gold and produce jewelry, gold bars, and many other things that we will need. If you want to actually develop, you have to take full possession of your resources. You have to fight for the technology to add value to your resources, and then you have to train your people with the skills to add value and utilize the value-added products for the improvement of the quality of life. We have to create market for the things that we produce. So to be talking about we are the largest producer of gold and then we are exporting raw gold, we are actually digging the hole for the future in terms of the hope for poverty. And we can say the same thing for oil and gas. We are talking about an integrated bauxite project. We can say the same thing there. So I would say that we have a lot of work to do in moving from being a raw materials-based economy to a value added economy where we actually have the technologies to add value to our raw materials. Then I will also talk about the area of government-run enterprises like Ghana Telecoms, Ghana Airways, Tema Oil Refinery. It seems to me that we have failed abysmally in these areas because Ghana Airways is no more and Tema Oil Refinery is struggling and Ghana Telecoms is no more. You have to sell this to Vodafone. The question is that how can a nation outsource its communication infrastructure and talk about becoming a strong nation? That's not going to work. We lost Ghana Telecoms and then we lost Ghana Airways. And the question will be, why will these things be happening? Well, they are pointing to the reality that we don't have the leadership skills, the business skills, the entrepreneurial skills. We don't have the basic ethics, the integrity needed for these businesses to operate well. And we don't have high enough level of patriotism to sacrifice personal aspirations and interests for the good of the country. So when you come into those arenas, you realize that this reveal weaknesses in the culture, in the understandings, and in the leadership actions of Ghanaians. Weaknesses that have to be addressed if we want to be able to move forward. From the top to the bottom, you have evidences of corruption. And so as we celebrate our achievements, we have to pause for a moment and ask ourselves, why should our corruption be so systemic to the point that it has become a way of life? This is the one reason why our parastatals, government-run enterprises, which are essential services for the development of the nation, have been failing. The other area to look at is our concept of national development. We cannot develop as a people unless we have a multi-partisan plan that is owned, understood, and actually utilized by all sectors of the Ghanaian society. I know good work has been done by different groups of people through the National Development Planning Commission. We have been working on a plan that will, in 2057, allow us to celebrate a new Ghana. But because of multi-party winner-takes-all approach to how we run our government, we have not been able to conclude this plan and then launch it in a way that will tell all Ghanaians that this is our plan for our future. But in relation to the plan, I will also mention that the foundation for our national development plan must be a moral vision. A moral vision for the country will be addressing the Ghana that we want within the context of the Ghanaians that we want. You cannot have a new Ghana without a new Ghanaian. And so, when we are talking about the Ghanaians that we need in order to have the Ghana that we want, we then have to ask ourselves, what moral values should characterize the lives of all Ghanaians? And these moral values, I would suggest maybe 3 to 5 of such values, should then be owned by all leaders in all sectors of Ghanaian society. And we should then translate these into how we conduct ourselves and how we lead, how we serve, and how we govern. If we don't have a vision for who we want to become, then whatever we are achieving will not be meaningful, because it is the who that precedes the what. It is who leaders are that determines what leaders do ultimately. And when we are talking about moral values, we can talk about values like integrity. We can talk about value like excellence. We can talk about value like maximization. We can talk about the value of freedom and justice. We already have that. We can talk of the sacredness of human life as a value where no one should be left behind. Everyone counts for something. We need to work as a nation to identify which values should characterize us as a people. And then this then should inform what we call our moral vision. And that should be the foundation for our national development plan. When we look at the gains that we have made and the challenges that we have where we need more work done, the question we should ask is, what will it take to move us in the right direction? Many people have asked this question. And when you look at our country, like any other country, there are so many needs. We need good water, we need good roads, we need good education, we need health, we need housing, we need jobs, and the list is unending, more or less. What will you do that will be able to give you the capacity to address all these challenges and respond to all these needs? Our conclusion in the International Leadership Foundation is that it takes leadership to really make a difference in all of these areas. Ghana, as many other African nations, has all the resources. If you are looking at the national resources of the country, we are comparatively a very wealthy country. 35 million people producing gold, bauxite, producing oil and gas. And you can go on to magnesium, you can go on to timber. 35 million people producing cocoa. Why should they be poor? So the reason has to be the leadership that is absent. The development of a people is not necessarily linked to the quantity of resources that they have. It is rather linked to the level of resourcefulness of the people. And so here the gap is in leadership. The gap has to do with the resourcefulness of Ghanaians. So though we have the resources, we are not as resourceful as we should be. And the lack of resourcefulness is what results in our selling gold without refining it, cocoa without adding value to it. And so how do you bring that leadership into the Ghanaian setting? We need entrepreneurial leaders. We need highly creative leaders. We need leaders of integrity. Because you will realize that the systemic nature of corruption is actually a barrier, a major obstacle to the realization of the developmental potential of the country. And to address this, we have to place at the center of our leadership development the integrity of leaders. And this should be done at the very top level, and it should also be done amongst the youth. One of the shortcomings of Africans is actually also our strength. It is our resilience. We are able to survive and adjust to different situations. We are able to tolerate a lot of chaos, a lot of hardship. But this strength can also become our weakness in the sense that instead of changing a situation, we adjust to the situation and are able to do so and continue with life and business as usual. Now, in transforming leadership, we are looking at a very different approach. We are making a case for leaders of integrity who will be dissatisfied with the status quo, challenge the status quo, and be committed to changing the status quo instead of adjusting to it. We need people who are emotionally intense and deeply passionate about changing the current situation for a better one, because we cannot leave Ghana the way it is for the next generation. The issue of corruption has to be addressed conclusively, and the tendency to adjust and not to change also has to be changed dramatically, so that you have leaders of integrity who are committed to transforming the situation as it is in a radical way for a better situation. And we look at a better situation as a situation that is more life enhancing. And we look at this life enhancing impact in the areas of individual lives, communities, organizations, and societies. So leaders of integrity who are committed to leading change. And so we want to make a contribution to the new Ghana, because we do believe in the Ghanaian people. We do believe in the potential that God has given to us. And we also do believe that it is our responsibility in this generation to provide a better Ghana for the next generation. God bless you.